Today, I have one of my favorite people in the entire world here with me, Connie Vukelic, who is a beekeeper out of Harvard, right? No, Woodstock, Illinois, right?
Marengo.
Say it again.
Marengo.
Marengo. Okay, I
Close,
knew it was some
close
of
to those other towns.
one
Yeah.
of those towns up close there. Marengo. You know what? That's so funny. I think it's Woodstock all the time because of the what's the Bill Murray movie? Groundhog's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where you're at all the time, and then I forget that it's Marengo. Anyway, it's far, far, far it's in a land far, far away from me.
Yeah. Out
So,
country.
yeah, out in the middle of nowhere. So, listen, we're gonna dive right in because Connie is, number 1, I met Connie when, gosh, it was back in 2018, I think, and, you came to a networking group that I had started, and you were a beekeeper, and it was so funny. Somebody brought you, and you were there to do it. And then next thing I know, you're signing up to work with me. And I think that just started an explosion of your business. And we're going to get to your business in a few minutes. And I'm going to have a lot of questions for you because I think people need to know that number one, a beekeeper can make money, right? A beekeeper can make money. And it's so interesting that you're out there in the throes of the bees, right? And making money. And then there's other people who have excuse after excuse after excuse on why they can't. But my friend, good morning, good afternoon.
Good
Thank you for being
afternoon.
here. I'm so happy to have you.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm so excited to be here.
And I can't lean forward or there's no face, right? I have no face. So I have to stay backwards because the sun's coming in now. But so Connie, let's go ahead and start with your milk crate moment, please. And I know you, and when we talked the other day, you had a lot of milk crate moments. You're like, should I use this
Ah,
one? Should I use that
yeah,
one? I just want to let you know that you're the only entrepreneur out there that's ever had more than one milk crate moment.
of course I am. The only one.
No, everybody, when I talk to people, they're like, can I use one from today or last week? Right.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm so super excited. So let's talk about what's your milk crate moment?
Well, so like you mentioned, we met back in 2018. I attended some networking events with you for a little while, and then beginning, I think it was I think it was the last week of December. Was it the last week of December? No, maybe that was 2019. Anyway,
Yeah.
we I signed with you early in early in 2019. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm challenged with my memory because 2020 has that kind of time warp effect on us.
Yeah, if that's that time warp, we would all just like to forget that it ever happened, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I signed with you in 2019, and I mean, so that there was this whole series of like milk crate moments in 2019 for me. Most people, they think of like, like in recent years, like difficult years that they've been through, and for me, it was less of 2020 and more of 2019, because in March of 2019, my mom passed, and then in July of 2019, my mentor passed. And so again, there was these kind of mini milk crate moments already happening. And then as you and I were going along and we were working, we were putting everything together, we got to the end of 2019. And I was really excited because I had this amazing plan that you had created for me. And I was just like ready, right? I was like horse at the gate, ready. And I remember it was March and I attended this market. I think it was the day before St. Patrick's Day, in fact. It was a pretty good market. I normally do farmers markets in the summertime, but I had a couple that, were going on throughout the winter time that were kind of keeping things moving for me. And then the next day, the world shut down. And it was so unexpected, of course, right? And so then it was like, yeah, okay, 2 weeks, okay. And then we heard the rumors about um, hand sanitizer. And I heard something, I think 3 people mentioned it in one day. And I went, oh, interesting, right? Noted. So hand sanitizer was a product I had made for several years, but I kind of had tapered off and gone away from it because it wasn't a really popular thing at
And
that
it
time.
was readily available everywhere, right?
Exactly. So
Yeah,
why do you need to get it at your farmer's market, right?
right.
So However, all of a sudden, like I was hearing these things and paying attention to it. So there I was at midnight ordering this 5 gallon bucket of isopropyl alcohol so that I could make my hand sanitizer. And I was really excited because even the isopropyl alcohol was almost impossible to get with this new shortage of hand sanitizer. And so the next day or a couple days later, I went on Facebook and I thought, oh, this is great. This is perfect timing. This is a way for me to continue to keep working and, just kind of shift and do things differently. And so I put a post out on Facebook that I had hand sanitizer if anyone was looking for it, because I knew so many people at that point were really wanting it and in need of it. Our first responders and everybody else on the front lines that had no idea at that point. We had no idea what COVID was, how it was impacting people. We were just really like trusting everything that we were being told, that we needed to Clorox every bag, everything, spray ourselves down before we got into the house and everything else.
Right.
And so I put the ad out there. And next thing you know, I had somebody that very quickly jumped on and started shaming me for putting that out there, and I was taking advantage of people, and why would I do that? And if I was somebody that genuinely believed in helping people, then I should just be giving it away. Why would I attempt to sell them something in this difficult time?
And let's talk about that for a minute, because nobody shamed Walmart for staying open, right? Nobody shamed any of the big box stores who were selling their products all the time. And it wasn't like you were overcharging for that. You didn't,
Right.
right? You and I even, I believe, had a conversation about that, about how we don't overcharge and take advantage of people when there's something going on, even a holiday, right? Where a florist will double the prices of roses for
Right.
2 days or something. And yet whoever that was, do you even remember who it was?
I do.
Okay. So I'm not going to ask you to out them.
It's
Um,
okay.
yeah, but I'm just saying that. So was it a friend of yours?
It
Or
was a Facebook friend, no one that I'd ever met in person, but somebody that I had interacted with a lot throughout the years. So they kind of felt like a friend. You know what I mean? It kind of,
yeah,
where sometimes you feel like you have kind of that personal relationship with somebody. So it was very shocking for me to hear that from this person. And I feel like most people that know me, Jean, they know I'm very genuine in my heart about serving others. My
right,
product line, it was developed really from that standpoint. When somebody came to me and they had a need, I was like, okay, I can make that for you. I can help you with that.
right,
So it really was just an opportunity for me to give people something that they wanted, they needed, and I was excited to do it because I was also giving them a better quality hand sanitizer, right?
right.
Uh,
And more natural. Not that
yeah,
if isopropyl alcohol could be more a natural thing. So, you know what? And I'm just thinking about all of the promo products people that we know who were like literally calling people like, I have hand sanitizer. Let's put your name on it and get it out there. Right.
right.
So yeah, go ahead. Keep going. I'm
Yeah,
just, I'm
so
just
I
shocked
mean, I
about
remember you and I talked, and that was, I think that was like in the, or either right before the 5 a.m. club, or it may have been like the week of the inception of the 5 a.m. club, because you and I were both waking up really early, and we had a
well, we
conversation.
started the 5 a.m. club March 1st of 2020. So it was before the lockdown. Because I was in North Carolina the
Okay,
day we started it, and
got it.
I was worried about getting home because all we're hearing is flights are off because people are not knowing whether or not they can fly. Um, Grocery stores were being like taken over, and everything was wiped out. So yeah, it was March 1st. So
Okay, so we had just started the 5 a.m. club, and maybe it was just that we were still really small at that point in our 5 a.m. club. Maybe it
we
was just
were. It was
Lynn
just
and
the three
I.
of us.
But and maybe it was at that point that you began inviting more people, because from that conversation, I feel like um, I feel like you realized that there was more people than not that were struggling with a lot of the things that I was struggling with at that time,
Yeah.
which I mean, I was crushed. I was literally crushed because I remember just feeling like, you know, I've been climbing this mountain. My mom passed, my mentor passed. I had to move bees. I struggled with keeping bees alive and kind of figuring things out now that I didn't have a mentor anymore. And I had you to guide me along, and I had this plan I was really excited about. And then the world shut down, and then I didn't have markets. And so it was like literally, in micro moments, recreating myself and recreating my business. And so then to have somebody then kind of slap you on the head for that and like, how dare you try to support your family and pay your bills, right? That's kind of how
Right.
it felt. And
That's exactly what she meant. Whoops, sorry. That's exactly what she meant, though,
yeah,
right? How dare you try to make money and put food on the family for your two kids as a single mom? How dare you go out there and try to make money from a worldwide pandemic
right.
and not and
Exploiting the pandemic.
right?
Yeah,
And yet no mom and pop store could be opened. No small business could be opened unless you were Walmart or Home Depot or some of the bigger companies out there, right?
yeah,
You, the little guy, will squash you like a little frickin' bug. But
yeah.
the big guys, go for it. You make all the money you want, Walmart, Amazon, Home Depot.
And this in the face of like all of my markets disappeared overnight.
Yeah.
And all of those winter markets that went away still have not come back, right? So that was a
Oh, I
permanent
didn't know that.
change for me. So, and I was very new to trying to sell things online and trying to reach people online. So I know we had a conversation around that, and you were extremely encouraging in encouraging me to keep that out there and continue on with what I was doing. And so, which was really helpful. It was really just overcoming that mindset piece, right? Like, it's like, I feel like entrepreneurship is a lot of like getting knocked down, getting back up, getting knocked down, getting back up. And I think somebody even said, if you haven't wanted to quit your business as an entrepreneur at least 5 times, you are not an entrepreneur.
Exactly.
And
It's like
that
your
you're
what are those things called that remember they had them when we were kids? You punch them and they would bounce right back up. What were those called? They weren't punching bags, but they were
are you
like
talking about Weebles?
weebles or something like that, where you literally would knock them down. Don't you remember they were about 4 foot tall and they had
Oh,
like a
yeah,
clown
yeah,
face on them, and you would punch it and they would come, they'd just jump back at you. Yeah, that's what it's like being an entrepreneur.
yeah,
And it was even worse than that when the pandemic started and then to be deemed unessential. That
yeah,
was just bullshit in my opinion, right? I wasn't letting any small business owner I know see themselves as unessential,
yeah,
a non-essential worker, a
yeah.
non-essential business. Small business is where it's at, right?
Yeah, I mean, at that point, we didn't. There was no PPP yet. There was no any news from the government on anything that they were doing. And as an entrepreneur, obviously, if I'm not out there hustling, that bank account's going to see it and feel it very quickly, right?
Right,
And
right.
yeah,
So I think that is such a good, it's such a great thing to talk about because we always talk about this, within my group. We always talk about the fact that your friends and your family are not your ideal customers, right?
yeah,
So this person probably assumed she was a friend and she's going to help you. She's going to set you straight so that you stop taking advantage of people
ah,
and just go back to minding your business and take the pandemic like it was meant, right? A slap
yeah,
down because you're non-essential.
yeah,
And that man, that really just bugged me when that happened because so remember so many small business owners, it was on it was on it happened the shutdown here in Illinois started on St. Patrick's Day. I don't know if you remember that.
I
I'm
do.
so clear on the dates, right? So it was after St. Patrick's Day that happened.
Yeah,
Um, because and then I started a free group for entrepreneurs who wanted to stay in business, and I haven't heard of any of them that have gone out of business.
yeah. Isn't that fantastic? I love that.
Well, it is fantastic, and it's sometimes it's some small business owners need support, right? So
Well,
when they
and that's exactly what where you came in, right? It was that mindset, right? We talk a lot about that. I mean, you and I mean, I feel like there's been so many conversations around mindset and just really changing that belief system. And it was incredible because coming off of that conversation, um, it was that low, and then feeling the support from yourself and then the other entrepreneurs that were surrounding me. And I remember then I got a little fiery about it. And when I get fiery, then things start to happen in my world. It's always like that little Irish that comes in. And I remember I ended up off the cuff of that. I think I made like an enormous pot of elderberry syrup, called up a friend. The friend put me in connection with a group of, like, a small school out in Elgin, and I went out there with a big box of elderberry syrup, and was able to be of service to these people immediately, right? Like, that's what the change in mindset did for me. And it was just an enormous amount of income that I brought in just off of that one delivery, that one connection, that one shift in mindset that made that huge bump, right?
Yep.
And so it's kind of like every time I got knocked back down, it was like I'd get up a little bit faster, right?
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly. Well, and I'm so proud of you because
thank
where
you.
you're sitting right now, what is looks like a preschool room. Where are you at?
Well, look, I think it looks a little bit like a Chinese takeout place because it's bright yellow and red. This red will actually get painted black. Where I'm sitting right now is the expansion of my shop. So in May of last year, I moved into a small storefront in Marengo, which I have since outgrown. Because there's so many things happening in the business, I need more space. I need a little more elbow room. And I actually wanted this space originally, but it was not available because it was a COVID testing site,
Oh,
which,
geez.
which moved out. They're gone, long gone, 8 months empty. And so finally, I've made the decision to move into this space and create an amazing new space. So coming next year, there'll be a lot more available from 3Bs. We're going to have all the same honey and body care products that we've always had, but I'm going to have more resources available for my small local beekeepers. We're getting into beekeeping equipment and things like that. So really
Well,
fun.
let's talk about that for just a minute. So let's talk about you just said honey and healthcare products, or what did you call it? Self-care
Body
products?
care. Yes.
Body care products. So let's talk about some of the products that you do make there, because we talked about the hand sanitizer, which was something that you already done. I bet if I look hard enough on my desk, I would have something here from 3Bs,
Where's your
right?
propolis spray?
My propolis spray, I think I took it upstairs, right? So let's talk about some of the things. Well, you mentioned propolis. So
Yeah.
let's talk about propolis.
Okay. I
Tell
love
me about it.
propolis. Propolis is,
Tell us
is
about it.
is literally like one of my favorite products that comes out of the hive. So what the bees do is they go and they harvest it from the sap in the trees and they bring it back and they use it to seal up their hive. They have a different immune system than we do. And so for them, it protects the colony from viruses, bacteria, and diseases. And they'll usually put a line of it at the front of the hive. And as they fly in, it kind of cleans them up. So for us as humans, when we use this as a medicine, it kind of protects us in the same way. So the word propolis means defender of the city. So the ancient Greeks used it. They've used it in Eastern Europe for a long time. I have a lot of customers that are Romanian, Ukrainian, Russian, Polish. A lot of them have a grandma in the old country that sends them propolis. Okay, so what does it do? It kills staph, it kills MRSA, it kills 70% of superbugs. Um, it supports your teeth, your immune system, and this is backed by clinical trials. That's what I love. So when I create products, I'm not just whipping out a recipe book or copycatting something somebody else has done. I'm actually going in, I'm digging in, and I'm looking for who has tested this, because I don't have a lab and I'm not a scientist, but I like to find the science that backs the things that I'm looking for so that people can have a natural product that's going to keep them healthy and not have a long list of like could cause whatever, heart disease, I don't know,
So it's a
that
natural
long
product,
list
right?
long list of things that we hear from big pharma when they give us things that's going to help us, right?
Okay,
So
help us. Right. So,
yeah.
but here's the thing. What I've heard you say it a million times that the bees, you use everything that comes from the bees, everything that comes from the hive, every little piece of what the bees leave you
Yeah,
is stuff you use.
nothing goes to waste. I like to be really mindful about what they give us because it's a gift. And most people see bees and honey as food, a resource for pollination. I look at a beehive and I see a medicine chest. And I really got reinvigorated about propolis because I listened to a speech by a gentleman by the name of James Fernley, and he heads, well, maybe he doesn't head it up, but he's part of the International Propolis Organization. That was a little mind blowing to me right there. I was like, it has nothing to do with bees and honey. It's just about propolis, right? And this man said that one of the biggest losses that we would experience if we lost bees is not the loss of the honey and not the loss of the pollination, but the loss of the medicine that is inside of a beehive that we don't even like utilize to its fullest extent. And that we really need to take a second look at these things in light of all these superbugs and crazy things. We've developed these antibiotic resistances, and so we need to be looking at going back to old school ways of doing things and things that have worked. I mean, again, it goes back to ancient Greece, right? So, they're in their togas using their propolis, like, and it worked then. And so why would we not use this now?
It's so funny that you say it goes back to ancient Greece because, we've talked about this a million times, but man, I'm still hitting that sun, right? I keep backing up. So if you can't hear me, let me know. But I don't even know if I ever told you this that my grandfather was born in Greece. And
Oh,
when he came here, when I was a little girl, we lived right next door to them. Our house was right next door to my grandparents. And my grandpa had beehives out there. And I just remember he would make something called honey candy or something like that, where it was kind of gooey on the inside and then a hard shell on the outside. And they had like a little mold for it or something. I have no idea how he did that because I was like 6 or 7 when he died. But I do remember that he had beehives with the seeing and with the smokers, the smoker and the bee helmet and or hat, whatever what do you call it? What's the bee?
available.
A veil?
Hmm.
Okay. But you know what I don't remember? I don't ever remember a bee suit. I don't remember him in a bee suit, but I remember him with the smoker and the veil. And it's just I totally forgot that until like right now.
That's
So
so funny. I don't think you ever told me that.
yeah, it's crazy, but think and there was a house down the street from us, and we lived on a kind of in the outskirts of town, and down on the same street there was another man who had a little sign out there, and maybe my grandfather did too, because obviously at 6 or 7 I probably wasn't allowed to play by the road, right? So,
Good
um,
choice.
right? Maybe there was a sign there too, but he always had out on the side of the road honey candy. That
Nice.
right, that he created that. So, oh my god, that I'd never Connie, this never even hit me, this memory till right now. So,
That's so
hey,
cool.
listen, so what else? Let's talk really quickly. Name off some products, some cool products. And do you have a website?
I do.
What is your website?
My
Go ahead.
website is 3bees.net. I always tell people think if you think you can't remember it, just think of 3 bees in a net.
3Bs, 3Bs.net.
Yep.
I'm gonna put it HTTPS.
Yeah.
Awesome there. All right. Obviously, I've got a sun issue. I haven't had that all summer, but now I have it. So,
Seasons are changing. All the
let me
leaves are down. Yeah.
there we
But
go. We'll
it's
send that
nice to
across the
see the
bottom.
bright sun. So
Yeah.
other products, I would probably say like I absolutely love creating my deodorant because that one has a really nice backstory as well. Most of my products, there's a story involved, right? It wasn't just like I was sitting around one day going, oh, I think I'm going to make this. In most cases, there was somebody that had a need And I was like, all right, let me see what I can do. So in the case of the deodorant, I had a gal that came to see me. I think she was 33 at the time. And she came to one of my markets, and she had a 4-year-old little boy with her. And she had stage 4 breast cancer, stage 4 ovarian cancer.
Oh my gosh.
And she asked me to make her deodorant. This one's going to get me choked up. She asked me to make her deodorant, and at first there was a lot of pushback because I was like, what do I know about making deodorant, right? Like, how can I make sure that people aren't going to be stinky, right? You know, what if I make it and they are stinky? They're going to hate it or whatever, right? So it really took a lot for me to step into wanting to make that particular product. But after I met her, that night when I drove home, I wept on the way home because I thought how difficult it must be to be a young mom dealing with that level of disease, right? And then what sealed the deal was she took me to a cancer survivors meeting. And in a room of about 20 ladies, none of them had ever been told by their doctors that they should not use an aluminum-based deodorant. And when they were done with their treatment, they were told they could go right back to using the same products they'd always used. And the truth of the matter is your skin is a barrier, not a carrier. Yeah, carrier, not a barrier. Okay, so things that you put on your skin absorb into your skin. That's why transdermal patches work. And so it was horrifying to me that we talk a lot about curing cancer and not preventing cancer. And all these things just kind of occurred to me in the process of creating that. And I ended up making a really great deodorant. She loved it. She was cured from her breast cancer and her ovarian cancer. But in the end, she went out and she was really active in her community. She was Hispanic, and she felt there was a lot of the language barrier that was keeping people from getting the information that they needed to do some preventative measures around breast cancer. And so I think she tried really hard to spread the word and maybe didn't take as much care of herself as she needed. She ended up getting a brain tumor, and that's what took her.
Oh my goodness.
So I like to honor her with gentle in that. And so the deodorant is made to help detoxify your body while you're using it. So it has kaolin clay in it. The kaolin has drawing properties. Again, I'm not a scientist. I'm not in a lab. I'm basing this off of
You're
things.
not a doctor either, so let's say
Yeah,
that too, because we don't want the FDA and all that
we
other
don't want
shit.
any trouble, but
Right.
I do a lot of reading and research, and so I
I
create
mean,
products based on the things that I'm reading and researching, right? At best, it is detoxifying your body and pulling heavy metal out of it. At worst, it is not causing any disease. It's not an endocrine disruptor, and it truly works.
well, let's talk about you had another product that I can't remember what it was called, but runners loved it. Or was that the deodorant? I thought no, I don't think it was that.
That's the booby. That's the booby. So
Let's
again, we talk a lot.
focus
We
about that.
same customer, right? Same customer was the inspiration for this one. So the booby balm was made with lymphatic massage in mind because again, we talk about curing cancer, not preventing cancer. And lymphatic massage, so breast massage and abdominal massage, is very helpful to women to help prevent breast cancer because we need to be moving that lymphatic system, and if we're not, it can be a problem for us. So that one was created primarily for massage. However, everything that I put together, I always dig deep and I'm looking at, okay, what does it do? What has it been tested for? What kind of clinical trials exist around this? So two of the main ingredients, just natural oils, evening primrose, borage oil, both of those in clinical trials help with eczema, psoriasis, dermatitis. So a lot of people use it for that. And then we were at a networking event, and Jen Willardick, who is a cancer survivor, we were talking, and she bought some because I don't remember if she had a little bit of a problem with eczema, but she ended up using it um, for running, like as an anti-chafing salve. So it had that's the other thing is I love creating products that don't just have one use. They're multifunctional. You know, your body care really should not be sitting in your cabinet for more than a year and a half. If it's been in there for 18 months and you haven't used it or you haven't used it up, you should throw it away. Because number one, if it's a natural product, it may not be good anymore. And if it's not a natural product and it's good for that long, then it probably doesn't belong on your skin. So you should throw it away anyway. So,
Yeah, I love that. All right, give us one more cool product that listen, you guys, if natural ingredients and natural products are interested, you're interested in that, right? Just check out Connie's website because you do face scrubs and what else? What other can
okay.
oh
So
yeah,
the other,
let's talk about your candles. I use your candles, the bee wax candles. You made these for my daughter's baby shower.
yeah.
Because why? What's the cool thing? I know what it is,
Why
but
do we love beeswax?
yeah,
Okay. Again, we want to use everything out of the hive, and everything that comes out of the hive has a healthful benefit for you. So
right.
before I became a beekeeper, I became a bird owner. And when I became a bird owner, we got this whole long list of all the things we couldn't use anymore. No more frying pans, no more cleaning products, right? Like no more candles. And let me tell you, I loved my Yankee candles, right? I loved all those like synthetic, heavy, fragranced smells.
Yeah.
But yet, when I would burn those in my house, it would leave that big soot streak on the wall, which I didn't even think about, but I was always scrubbing it off the wall. Well, so they said no more candles, and I was like, oh, no more candles. Bummer, right?
Yeah.
Well, fast forward, I became a beekeeper and I learned that guess what? Beeswax candles are clean burning and they're safe to burn around birds because they don't cause that soot streak. And that soot streak is bad because it stores itself in your lungs. So again, it's like these things that we're using in our home, but the pure beeswax burns brighter, lasts longer, and it's a natural air purifier. So it helps to clean up your indoor air, which in the wintertime is one of the most toxic places that we spend time. So it's just they're lovely. They have a beautiful light and they um, clean up your air and they last longer, like 70% longer, which is just so cool.
And it's like that with all your products, right? They all have a health benefit to
Yeah.
them, and there's so many cool things you do have. Um, there was some oh shoot, I just was thinking
Probably
about something. Go ahead.
the last one that I would say that is
Okay.
probably one of my most popular products is the Don't Be a Pain in My Backside salve. And people always giggle, they come to
I'm
my
sorry, I
booth.
have a lot of pains in the backside. Maybe I need a salve for them.
Yes.
Okay, tell me about it.
Okay, so they come to my booth and they see the name, and then you always hear this quiet kind of ha 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 giggling, and they point. But that one, my mom was the inspiration for because my mom had stenosis, and the doctors would tell her pain meds or surgery were her options. And my mother was a very stubborn little German lady, and she wanted neither of those options. So because again, it was like, how can I be of service to my mom? I hated seeing her in so much pain. So that one works on deep chronic aches and pains, muscle aches, joints, tendons, nerves, right? Over 5 years, it's been a bestseller at farmers markets. So many lovely testimonies that people can see on my website. All natural, nothing in there that is harmful to you. The only people that really shouldn't use it is children that are really young, like probably 2 and under, and then women that are pregnant, because it has some ingredients in there that can induce labor. Like old school was, instead of using like what we use nowadays, we use some herbs to induce labor. Some of those herbs are also really good for like cramping and pain and things like that, but shouldn't be put on a pregnant woman. So other than that, though, it's an amazing salve. Works really, really well.
And you have something called a nurse's bar, and listen, you guys check out her website, right? I could keep her here all day, but I have a bad cough, and
Need to
I
go
think it's
upstairs and get
almost
your propolis spray.
yeah, actually, my propolis spray is probably 2 years old, if not older. I probably need some new propolis spray. So, but check out Connie's website, 3bees.net, spell out three, bees.net. Check it out and see all of the amazing products you have. I'm sure you have some Christmas bundles coming up for gifts.
Yes, definitely. I have a lot of fun little collections of things. There's like never ending creativity to putting that stuff together. If you have something custom you want put together, I love doing that. I'll put it together, take a picture, send it to you. You give me the thumbs up. I will even take it to the post office for you, right? So I'll do all the legwork for you, make it really simple. If you're
Well, it would
here
be silly
locally,
for them to come to you and then mail it to themselves. So
yeah. So if you're here locally, though, I'm going to say you should come and see me December 16th. I'm having like a sip and shop kind of festive event. The feel is going to be like you're going to a Christmas party, but you can shop, right? So
what's
you're
the
going to
date?
December 16th.
How far is that? How far is Marengo from where I'm at?
It's just a short little drive out in the
You
country.
lie. It is more than a short little drive.
It's not
Actually,
that. Just ask Bruce to drive you. I'm
I,
sure he'd be
I
happy.
will absolutely do that.
There
So,
you go. You stop and
Connie,
get a coffee, the time will fly.
okay. Well, thank you for coming and thank you for being. Wait, you guys have the big cow or something in the middle of town, don't you? Don't you have some sort of cow
Uh,
or something in there out
I
there?
don't know.
Am I
There's no
still thinking about Woodstock? Maybe I am.
no, that might be Woodstock. Marengo's a lot of guns and bars.
Harvard. I'm thinking about Harvard. So, okay. But I know you're in that area up there. So, listen, thank you so much for coming and sharing your stories and your products. And
Thank
most
you for
importantly,
having
thank you
me.
for sharing your milk crate moment with everybody. I think a lot of people could see themselves. I'm sure you were not the only one who had somebody try to shame you because you were trying to feed your family during the pandemic.
And stay in business, right? And keep
Right,
your
exactly.
doors open, whether they were actual or virtual.
Exactly. So, I mean, you literally had people coming to your home all hours of the day, right? To pick up what they needed. And nothing more natural than honey, the only food that does not spoil, right?
Yes, that's
Awesome.
right.
I love you so much. Thank you so much for being
Thank
here.
you.
Have a great day. Estella, if you're still there, I'd love you to be on my podcast. Everybody, have a great day and thank you for being here.
Bye bye. Thanks.